Now that we've got our basic shape pretty much defined there, what we have to do now, this is very important I think, especially with something like hazel, is I'm going to go over this now with the fine side of the rasp, just to, we've got to even that out, smooth it down a bit, because if it's not smooth, when you try and string it, all these little chips and cracks left by the coarse rasp are going to they're going to be weak points, and you're very likely to make the bow fail at that point. So I'm going to go over this now for about 10 minutes with the fine rasp. Now that I've gone over it with the fine rasp, just to smooth off some of the harder chunks that I've taken out of it with the coarse side, I'm going to go over it with some P180 sandpaper, and this again just helps to smooth out some of the little imperfections, and essentially just adds to the I'm just talking shit now, aren't I? Now that I've gone over it with the fine rasp, just to take out some of the harsher dents and bits like that from the coarse rasp, I'm going to go over it with some P180 sandpaper, again just to smooth it down. Smoother you can get it, the more you can take out the imperfections in the belly of the bow, then the less chance there is of it failing straight away. Well, I'm not the only one who's working hard with wood this morning. Can't actually see him, but maybe you'll be able to hear him. Bow is now sanded down, smooth. It's not perfect, but it's as smooth as I need it right now. So I'm going to get to work on the notching. What I'm going to use is a hacksaw blade. Make a few slices in there and then gouge it out with a knife. Try not to stab yourself when you're doing this, like an idiot like me. So there's your notches, very simple, just deep enough for the string to take a purchase there. Not so deep that you weaken the tip though. And then we're going to repeat that on the other side. It's very important with hazel that you sand down your notch, otherwise just even the slightest little imperfection in there will start to make a crack, and that will often split when you put the load of the bow on it, of the string. So you've got to try and get that as smooth as possible in that notch. So the nocks are sanded down now on both ends. Had a little bit of trouble with the one that I was talking about earlier. It was a bit dead, but I've stuck some PVA glue into the cracks, wood glue, sorry, and taped it up a bit, so that should glue up and hold nicely. I think that's going to be okay. String is just baler twine, and tied a couple of knots and then used zip ties to join that together. This end will never come off now. This end will stay on permanently. That's why that's done up with two, very tight. String should be for this bow probably about an inch or 2 inches short of the full length of the bow. You can always twist the string to make it as tight as you want. You don't want it to be too loose though. So now I've got this on my rather unconventional tiller. It's tied up around a piece of copper pipe on the ceiling. Basically what you do, you're looking to see what the shape looks like there. See, that arm is beautiful. It's a shame about the well, it's not a shame, it gives it character. It's an interesting curve there. So yeah, now you can just ease that either way. See that one there, it's a bit too straight. I'm going to carve that down just a little bit more. Now the final stage after sanding and making sure your shape is what you want. This is just, it's called cuprinol clear wax. You just use any, you can use beeswax, you can use any kind of sealing wax, any kind of wood treatment wax, and you just want to get that and generously rub it on with a cloth. I'm using a sock. From tip to tip you just want to cover the whole thing. I'm nearly out. And that is it. Once you've done that, it should be sealed nicely. The last thing I'm going to do is seal the ends up. Some people do it with paint. I'm going to do it, can't do this with one hand. I'm going to do it with a balloon. There you go. So that's sealed. And that end as well with a balloon. Now I've strung it very loosely, just literally so I've got something to hang it by. I'm hanging it over a very cool radiator. It's not even, I mean, it's not warm, it's just barely on. I'm just hanging it there, and I'll leave that for anywhere up to a week or two just to harden. And when we come back to that, that will be a solid bow. Okay, well, I'll have to come back and show you that in a week.